Hello guys, so this is going to be my first commentary video and we are going to make this modern isometric bedroom, and please feel free to add any feedback or suggestions in the comment section, and please subscribe if you like the content. Thank you. Let's get started. So to get started, we'll add a plane and we'll scale it 4 times. We'll hold Ctrl to deselect the vertex and extrude it on the Z axis by 6 meters. Get out of the edit mode and apply scale. Now we'll extrude all faces along normals and hit S for even thickness, and we'll make it -0.2. We'll bring it above and we'll add a ground plane and we'll scale it to 50. So this is a add-on called Drop It, and it aligns the object above with the object below, so you don't have to manually do it. Now for the light source, add a plane, rotate it on the x-axis by 90 degrees, scale it by 4. Now we are going to make the bed, and I did some research and found that a bed is 190 centimeters by 135 centimeters, and it is pretty small, as you can see, because the scale of our room is also double, so we need to double both these values. And we'll give it a height of like 30 centimeters. We'll extrude it a little. Shift D and Z to duplicate it and scale it by 0.93. So this will make the mattress. Give it a little height. Now to enable you to stick the face to this edge, you need to enable edge from the snapping option. So select this face and hold Ctrl to enable snapping, or you can enable it from here. We'll move it a little. Yes. Now for the blanket, we are going to do a cloth simulation, and for that we need to set both of these to collision. So go into the physics tab and set all of these to collision. Now add a blanket, or should I say a plane, and make it as big as you want. I'm going to make it that size. We'll subdivide it by 20 or 30 times to give it a little more geometry. Now we'll make it a cloth, and from the presets select cotton. Change the vertex mass to 0.1 and change the tension and the compression in the dampening to 0.3 and tension and the compression in stiffness also. Let's make it 12.5. Now go into collision and make sure you enable self collision. After the cloth modifier, add a subdivision subsurf and its space to play the animation. Now as you can see, the blanket went inside our plane and we don't want that. So if you enable face orientation in geometry, you will see that these faces appear red, and that is because the normals are inverted. So go into edit mode for our base and select all and hit shift N to recalculate the normals. Let's bring up timeline and see now when you play the animation, now it will stay on the ground. Also apply the scale, otherwise the simulation will not be as expected, and we want to give it a little randomness and wrinkles. So for that, go into the add tab and bring up vertex. And we'll change the strength to 8 and noise, will bring up the noise amount. Now when you play it, you see that there is a little wrinkle and randomness. Also give it a little rotation. And we'll bring it. Okay, now let's play. That looks better, but the thing with simulations is that it is random all the time you do it. So if you do it the next time, it is going to be something else. So try it yourself and use what you think is the best. See, that looks much better when we moved it slightly above. Let's keep playing. There is a little bit of more wrinkle in that, so let's play. Let's move it a little down and again. We'll decrease the strength here to 7. Try it again. No. Move this above. Yeah, I like that. So let it even out. Yeah, this looks better. Now apply the cloth modifier and the subdivision subsurf and add a solidify modifier. This will make it look little more like a blanket than a plain sheet. Increase the thickness to -2 or 3, no 2, and enable even thickness. Shade it smooth. To give it a little more randomness, we'll go into the sculpt mode and select the cloth brush. Just a little bit of wrinkles here and there. That looks much better. Now let's hide the blanket and delete the vertex. Apply the collision and add a bevel modifier and decrease the amount a little bit and increase the segments. Move it slightly, yes. After that, add a subdivision subsurf. Decrease the, and it looks better. For the bed, go into the edit first apply scale, go into the edit mode, select the edges and ctrl B to bevel it and increase the segments. Hold down alt and select both of these edges and ctrl B to bevel them as well and decrease the segments. Shade it smooth and go into the normals and apply auto smooth, so it will only smooth out the edges which have the bevels. Now for the legs, we will be adding a cylinder and 8 vertices should be fine. Decrease its size. Scale it down. Move it to the edge and now select the bottom edges and scale them down. Move it slightly, yeah. And Alt Z to enable X-ray mode and move this out like that. Now we are going to mirror this onto the bed, and so select the bed object and apply to X and Y axis. We are almost done with the bed and now we need the pillows, so get all the bed and we'll move it the Y axis and snap it there. Now for the pillows, I learned how to make the pillows from Blender Guru, and I will add the link in the description, so if you don't understand anything from my tutorial then you can always watch his. Make it like the approximate size of a pillow. Subdivide it like 10 times. Now make sure to enable merge here and we'll extrude it on the Z axis. Now go to select and select sharp edges, so it will select all these, and then scale on the Z axis by 0, so it will merge it. Now we are going to do a cloth simulation on this as well, so frame to 0. We'll decrease the vertex mass and go into collision, enable self collision and enable pressure, and we'll give it a pressure of 5. Now when you animate it, you can see that it makes a pillow. It didn't collide to this one as we don't have a collision applied to it. Now rotate it on the Y axis and bring it there. We'll duplicate it and okay. Now play the simulation. Yeah, that looks nice. Now add a subdivision subsurf modifier to both of them. And shade them smooth. So we are done with our bed. I think I'll scale them down on the Z axis. Oh. We need to apply the cloth on this as well. Move it down till it touches the bed. So we are done with the bed, and now let's move to the table. We'll bring our 3D cursor to the center of this plane. Add a plane and move it to the corner. We'll extrude the edges. 2.5 minus, and this will extrude by 4 minus. Bring it up and scale it to 0.6. That will make it the perfect scale. Go into the edit mode, select the vertex in the middle and press Ctrl Shift and B to bevel the vertex and increase the segments. Now we'll extrude all of it downwards. Add a bevel modifier and keep the amount to the minimum and increase the segments. We'll shade smooth and apply auto smooth. We'll join this area. And if you like my content, please subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. Now select these two and extrude them down. Select the plane we just made and P to separate it, and separate by selection, so that will separate the plane. And in the plane we'll select the plane and we'll delete only faces, so that just leaves us with the edges. We'll apply the scale and remove the bevel modifier. We are going to add a skin modifier to it. So this is pretty big for the skin, and go into the edit mode, select all the edges by hitting A. Ctrl and A to adjust the size of the skin modifier. So that looks fine. Now we'll scale it down so it is not going out of the table. Now Alt D to duplicate it, and Shift D and Alt D are different, so the materials, the modifiers and whatever you change in the edit mode will remain same to the object which you duplicated by Alt D, and Shift D is different and it will not do that. Rotate it by 90 degrees and origin to geometry. That change. See, that's what I told. So if you use Alt D, both will be affected. Select this one. Now for the monitor, we are going to make it a curved monitor and like a ultra wide curved monitor. So add a plane, rotate it, move it upwards and go into the orthographic view to see it better. Scale it down till the size and the aspect ratio what you feel is right for a curved monitor. Now to make it curved, we'll add some edge loops. Select the middle one and enable proportional editing and move this back, so that will add the curve. That looks very nice. Select all and extrude it along the y-axis and just like a little bit to make it modern and thin. Enable smooth shading and auto smooth. We'll select all the front faces to make the screen and eye to inset, and as you can see the inset is not balanced or proper from both sides, so to make that change we need to apply the scale and try again. So this is much better. Now extrude it back ever so slightly to make the screen. Let's add a bevel modifier to it and make it very less. Increase the segments. Now for the camera, there is another add-on called PR Isocam. I will make sure to add the link in the description. So using this you can make different type of isometric cam. So we are going to use game Isocam for this one. Change the size to 1080 by 1080. Move it on the Z axis. I'm not able to get out of the orthographic view. Yeah, that did the job. So for the stand, we are going to select the edge here and Shift S to bring the cursor there. Add a cylinder and make it 8 vertices and scale it down. Scale it on the Z axis and bring it down. Now add a edge loop and select the two faces that you want to extrude and Alt E and extrude along normal, so that will extrude them. Make it, yes, a little big. Let me make them a little bigger. Now scale them down on the Z axis to make them a little. Yes, I have proportional editing on, so it edited the whole stand. Move it down. So that's the stand, and If you want a bit more detail, then use a bevel modifier and increase the segments, shade it smooth and auto smooth. Now for the chair and the couch, I got them. The couch I got it from Blender Guru. He made it a free asset, so I got it from him, and I'll add a link in the description. And I found the gaming chair on Sketchfab, and I will add the link to that in the description as well. So let me append them, and I'll go to the folder, sets, collections, and chair and couch. So I will add the links in the description for sure. Now let's add the textures. I'll move it to the side. Render region, and from the camera, the viewport display, I will increase the. We are going to shader editor. Now for the floor texture, select the floor, and first we'll give the whole thing a new material, name it base, and make it completely white. Select the floor, make a new material and assign it, and we are going to name it floor. Now if you have node wrangler enabled, you can use Ctrl Shift and T to bring in a whole PBR material. So I downloaded this from CC0 textures, and I'll link in the description. Wooden floor 5. Okay, and we don't need the displacement map. This added the whole PBR material for us, and we don't have to manually do it. I'm going to remove the normal map, and I'm going to add a bump mat instead to the normal, and the color and to the height. Now we'll move into the rendered view. So we don't have our light source lit up right now. New material, light, right, and in the surface change the principled BSDF to emission and change the emission strength to 10. Now that is not looking good because it is stuck to the wall. We need to bring it out slightly. Now if I turn on rendered view, that looks much better. So for the floor, invert the bump to make the floor look better, and decrease the strength to 0.2, and I don't like the direction of the wooden plank, so change the rotation by 90. For the table material, We're going to give it a new material, name it wood, and ctrl shift T to bring it. We don't need the displacement map. For this I will let the normal map be here, and this is node preview add-on, so it lets you see what the node has like visually. I like that. And for the legs we are going to name it shiny metal. Increase the metallicness to 100%, drop the roughness to 0.3 and make it a little bit darker. Okay, we are done with the table. Now let's get the monitor. Now we are going to name it dark metal. Bring down the color a lot, make it almost grayish. Metallicness 100 and roughness to 0.3 also here also. Now let me go into the solid view, and we need to add a new material for the screen. Select all the faces that are the screen, add a new material and name it screen or whatever you like. Now change the surface. Now let's do it here. Emission, put that into the surface, and we'll hit Ctrl T to bring in a image texture. So I got this wallpaper, it is a new iMac wallpaper. We'll plug it there and we'll change the strength to 3 and apply the dark metal texture to the stand as well. Now for the textures in the bed, I'm using Quixel Bridge. A lot of us think that it is a paid service, but if you sign in with your Epic Games account, then it is going to be free. So for the blanket, we are going to export a dark fabric. Export and dark fabric. For the pillows, we are going to export this blue furniture fabric, and for the bed we are going to export this white cloth. Now select the pillow and we'll give it furniture fabric. Select the bed and white cloth. Furniture fabric for the other pillow as well. So for this time I'm going for a minimalist and a modern bedroom, and make the bed wood material. Now for some props and decoration stuff, select this plane and get the 3D cursor there. And we are going to import images as planes, so if you don't have that add-on, enable it. It is pre-installed, and just search image as planes and enable it. So shift A, image, and images as planes. Now I will add all the links in the description to the images as well. So bring in the images, rotate them on the z-axis by 90 degrees. Now scale them up. That looks better, and move them up slightly. Scale them down a little bit. And move them up. Now let's get them slightly apart from each other. Move this as well. Go into the select all and go into the edit mode and extrude them slightly. And stick them to the wall. Now select the materials and change the roughness to 0.1, so it will make them like posters and really nice. Select them, and now let's see. That looks pretty nice. And our ground plane is still white, so add a new material, name it background, and make it black. So for the sake of this video, I'll pretty much end it. In the final render, I have added some A4 size papers to add some more detail and clarity to make it real appealing. I also added plants and pots. They all can be sourced from the Quixel Megascans Library. I'll add the link to all of them in the description. So I will end the video now, and subscribe if you liked it. Thank you.